Now, yesterday we discussed how the structural adjustment programs were introduced, the duration which it was introduced, and it was introduced by who. We said that structural adjustment programs was introduced during 1980s and 1990s by Bretton Woods, that is the IMF and World Bank. And we also discussed the reason behind why they have been introduced. We have said that is because of high inflation. When a country has high debts, it cannot pay its debts. When a country is facing a high foreign exchange rate, maybe their money is so low compared to the dollars, and other reasons. Now today, we want to discuss how do they implement these structural adjustment programs. Number first is that they implement it by removing the subsidies. You remember when President Ruto took power in the year 2022, the first thing he did was to remove the subsidies of fuel and also some important communal things. Now, we can say that maybe fertilizer has been subsidized, but fuel has been removed. So the structural adjustment programs, they want that particular country to remove all the subsidies and to make sure they use that amount of money maybe to run the economy or to pay its debts. Number two is retrenchment of public jobs. You know, retrenchment is a euphemism of sending people home. So what the government does is, this Bretton Woods, that is the IMF and the World Bank, they force the government of the day to maybe sack their employees, that is those who work for the government. They have been retrenched and there will be a lot of turnover of labor because they want the country maybe to use that particular money to pay its debts. And if this happens, a lot of people will lose their livelihood. Number three is that after removing the subsidies and also retrenchment, and the other thing they do is that you have seen that something is being discussed nowadays by there is go and forth about the KPA, that is privatization of state corporations. Now there is dialogue on, actually there is no dialogue, they have already they have started the journey of privatizing these state corporations like KPA, that is Kenya Pipeline Authority, and they want to raise, I think, 200 billion. Is it 200 billion or 130 billion, something like that? So privatization is all these state corporations will be privatized and they will no longer be a public asset. It won't belong to the government again. So they are issuing shares so that people can buy these shares and they get maybe dividends at the end of the year. Even Safaricom, I think it is the Safaricom which they want to raise like 200 billion. Even they want to share the 15% of shares of Safaricom, which the government already, which belong to the government, the 15%. Well, I think they want to share to sell it to the parent of Safaricom, that is Vodafone. So privatization. And number four, which is last but not the least, is cost sharing in education sector and other sectors. Cost sharing to mean, like you have seen some schools that the government will pay some amount of money and then the parent is required. All the students, if you are able to pay for yourself, you are required to pay the other half. That is cost sharing. In education, in other sectors, you will pay some money. Even in SHA, SHA does not cover you fully. You will pay some money, and the government will also pay some money. So that is all to do with structural adjustment programs. So if you don't have these, if you don't imply this fiscal discipline, then Bretton Woods will penalize you, and it will mess up your maybe credit score. And those credit agency authorities like Moody's, S&P, it means Standard and Poor, S&Ps and others will give out maybe a negative report towards you because you are not able to pay your debts, and also you are not able to implement these particular initiatives which they wanted you to implement. Now, I believe by now you have a clue about structural adjustment programs. Why are they being introduced, and they affect where, and if they are being introduced, whatever journey they will partake so that it can be implemented. That is privatization, cost sharing, removing of the subsidies, retrenchment of employees in the public sector. And if you find value out of this video, kindly hit the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and leave us a comment on how you know about structural adjustment programs. Thank you so much.